There you go, my dear. Okay, freshmen. It seems like we're missing some kids. 3, 6, 9. I think we're missing like 5 or 6 kids. Is it okay if we get started?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so freshmen. Okay, I would like to introduce you. It's on your form. Mrs. Gannon. Okay, and her job for our school district, you know, like how we've had different people from our school district come here? Yeah. Right now in her life, she is helping all the teachers and the administrators with professional development. How can we grow to become better teachers? And she provides ways to help us. Does that kind of make sense?
That's great. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And just to kind of give you some background, and I know that you have some questions that you're trying to answer on your sheet. But one of the questions that I think you're asked to answer is about daily duties, or what are my daily responsibilities. And that's probably one of the things I love most about my job, is that no day is exactly the same. Each of my days is very different, and I really like that variety. And I kind of like that it's a little bit unpredictable. I do, for the most part, have a schedule, and I coordinate and put events on my calendar. So I really stick pretty closely to my calendar so I know when my appointments are. But one of the big jobs or duties that I have is coordinating and planning large events. And we have a lot of teachers in Grand Island, so it's not uncommon to have an event with 300 to 600 people. And so a lot of what I do is kind of like, if you think of it in terms of like a wedding planner or someone like that who does large events, I do a lot of that kind of stuff, where I have to pick the right venue that's large enough for the group. I have to coordinate varieties of classes throughout that conference or that event, plan meals sometimes. So there's a variety of things that I do to coordinate and plan large events. I also do a lot of classroom observations, where I come in with principals or teachers and I observe in classrooms. I work with instructional coaches quite a bit. I do some lesson planning with teachers, lots and lots of meetings in small groups. My calendar is really packed generally with those kinds of meetings. Quite a few conference calls, and one of the other things that I love about my job is I get to work with some pretty famous people because I'm booking speakers for these events, and so they're maybe not famous in your world, but in the teaching world, they're pretty famous. So I work with a lot of authors, a lot of big name speakers, do that oftentimes through a conference call. And then we do a lot of goal setting with teachers, with principals, and then creating action plans so that we can accomplish our goals. I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of months interviewing different candidates for various job positions. We do that quite a bit. And then manage, lead, and supervise groups. So that's what I do today, but this is not always what I've done. And when I was your age, I certainly did not know that I wanted to do this job. Really, I started out as a classroom teacher. I taught 4th grade for 9 years. And I would say that I didn't really know that I wanted to be a teacher until I was about a senior, although everything in my path really was leading me to that conclusion. I had really done a lot of teaching in a lot of other areas. I taught a lot of swimming lessons. I did some coaching. I had even taught some Sunday school and some things like that. And so really, I think all signs were pointing in this direction. I just maybe didn't realize it. My mom was also a teacher, so I kind of grew up in that kind of a family where, school was a big part of our lives. I spent a lot of time as a kindergartner in my mom's classroom because I was too little to walk home from school by myself. So I'd go in her room and I'd eat my graham crackers and color my pictures until it was time for my mom to go home. So school was a big part of my life. But real quick, I want to mention this. As a teacher, though, I was constantly learning new things. I really liked that leadership role, and so I took on a lot of leadership roles as a teacher. I was a leader in curriculum and school improvement and a whole bunch of other things within the building. And through those leadership experiences, it really kind of led me down another path. And I realized pretty quickly that I really enjoyed being in a leadership role, and so I went back to school for to get my master's degree so that I could become a principal. So to be a teacher, I had to have about 4.5 years of college is what it took in order for me to get my initial teaching certificate, which allowed me to teach 4th grade. And then about, I don't know, I'd probably been teaching for about 7 years when I realized I really wanted to be an administrator. And I knew that I wanted to go back and get a master's degree because in education, the more credits you get, the more you get paid. So it's also based on years of experience as well. But years of experience in college credits is what causes you to move up on the pay scale in the teaching world. And so I really wanted to increase my earning power. So I knew I wanted to go back for a master's degree. And when you do that, you have a lot to choose from. There's a lot of different kinds of master's degrees that you can get. But I really wanted to choose one that opened the most doors, the one that would let me do the most jobs and give me the widest range of possibilities. And so that really was an administrative degree, because then I could be a principal, I could work at an ESU, I could be a coordinator for curriculum and instruction. There were lots of opportunities. So I decided that that was the route to go. So I became a principal for about 5 years. This is one of my last days as a principal. Those are my 2 boys. And my 2 boys and I, we went to school together every day for, I don't know, Ben was a 7th grader. We went to school together every day for that many years. So it was kind of a bittersweet moment to be wrapping that up. But as an elementary principal, I had lots of responsibilities. You guys have a good idea of what a principal does. As a principal in an elementary school, I had a lot of responsibilities in terms of obviously supervising teachers, making sure that our schedule ran smoothly. But I also worked really closely with students to make sure that, they were doing what they needed to be doing in school, making sure that they were there on time, making sure that they were behaving appropriately. But I also had a lot of fun with the students as well, and I built some really amazing relationships with students.
Where were you an elementary principal at?
Shelton.
Oh, Shelton.
Cool. Yeah. And this was actually one of my last days as elementary principal. The kids had surprised me in the gym with, this was our little gym. We kind of used it just for PE, and when our big gym would overflow, we would go into the little gym. So they surprised me with this, and it was really kind of a touching moment because you think back on your career and all of the different lives that you touched, and so I'm really still close with a lot of these kids, and I still know all of them, and I know their families, and so I keep in touch. And it was really kind of a cool experience this weekend because my very last 4th grade class that I taught graduated from high school. So I got to go to their graduation, and that was, the funny thing is so many of them hadn't changed a bit.
Right.
Since they were in 4th
They're
grade.
a little bit taller.
They were taller. And some of them, I knew exactly what they were going to be when they grew up when they were in 4th grade. And so
That's cool.
Sure enough, they're going on to pursue those dreams. I get to do some really fun things. You might recognize some people in this picture, but we went to Anaheim this spring to attend a conference called ASCD. And I do get to go with groups to conferences all over the United States. I've been to lots of different states to attend these conferences. And I go for a variety of reasons. I go to learn myself, I go to bring back ideas, and I also go to find speakers that we can bring to Grand Island for the teachers here. So this was a really cool experience. We had a great time in California while we were there. We visited a high school and had all sorts of experiences. It's a learning experience, so it's not just for fun. A couple of my most rewarding accomplishments, I think one of them was obviously seeing that senior class graduate. That was really cool for me, and getting a chance to visit with all of those kids over the weekend. But another really rewarding accomplishment was I had an opportunity to write a preschool grant while I was an elementary principal. This was a big deal because in Shelton, our students didn't have access to preschool. Some could go to private preschool, but that cost a lot of money. And if your parents couldn't afford to send you to daycare and to preschool both, then you may not have had a preschool experience. And so I wrote a grant. The total amount of the grant was $340,000. And that allowed us to have a preschool on site at our school, and we could offer it free of charge to any preschooler in the area that was wanting to attend. And in fact, we did get even some preschoolers from Wood River and Gibbon who had their preschools were overflowing. And so they were able to come to Shelton. So that was awesome that we were able to provide that for so many kids. And I really felt really good about that opportunity. Makes our elementary a lot stronger to be able to do that. So just some other career details. This job is one that you could do in any state. Now, if you do go to another state, you like for me personally, because I have a Nebraska certificate, I would just have to take a couple of classes in that other state, and I would be certified. It would really not be a major deal. There are jobs available, but you have to make yourself marketable. That means you have to be a good quality candidate. But if you are, you've been to college, you've retained good grades while you were in college, you've volunteered and had a lot of experiences, you can really find a teaching job or an administrative job. This is a great career if you want to raise a family. That was one of the biggest benefits, I think, for me, having young children and being a teacher in a classroom, because my schedule was the same as theirs. I happened to be in a unique situation where my kids went to the same school that I taught in, so I could take them every morning and take them home every day. And plus, I think the other thing that was really important to me was I got to see them in school, which was, my kids. What's interesting to me is I feel like I know my kids better because I could see them in their school environment plus at home. So we had a really neat connection. And it is a very public career, so the public expects you to conduct yourself in a professional manner, whether you're teaching in a classroom or outside of the classroom. So I think that's important to know going in, is that you really do have to maintain that professional reputation. So I think that's a pretty crucial thing for anyone who's thinking about going into education. And other benefits of the job would include, nice benefits, health insurance, retirement, and you get vacation opportunities, which is sort of a nice thing. Hey, any questions?
What are some questions on your paper you guys don't have filled in?
Anything that I didn't hit on that you'd like me to talk about? I think before I knew that I wanted to be a teacher, I did have a lot of other jobs. I think this might be important to know. I worked a lot of different jobs. I mowed yards. I was a lifeguard. I cleaned houses. My very first job I ever did was when I was 12. I cleaned the city library. Every Saturday I'd have to go over and clean. And these were not jobs that I particularly enjoyed, but my parents, I kind of grew up in a household where you were expected to have a job. You were expected to manage your own money. You were expected to pay for some of your own things within reason. I mean, my parents, of course, gave me a lot of things, but, and I learned a lot of things about that. And I remember there were several times, especially when I was mowing oh my gosh, it was such a horrible job, but we had the city mowing job, so I had to mow the parks, the ballparks, the cemetery, weed eat around each of the gravestones in the cemetery. I mean, these were not fun jobs. But I remember my dad telling me when I was complaining about why, I think I was asking him why I had to work so hard, none of my friends had to do these jobs, and why would I have to? And my dad told me, he says, you have to work some really crappy jobs to appreciate a good one when you get it. And I think that was very true. I didn't understand that until I was an adult, but working some of those yucky jobs really told me I do not want to do this for the rest of my life. So go find something that you really enjoy. And I think that's what I did when I found teaching, was I found something I love to do. And when you love it, you don't feel like you go to work every day. And I think that's a pretty big deal. To have fun, to enjoy what you do, and to collect a paycheck for it is definitely an advantage. So I would encourage you to look for things that you really are passionate about. But I would also encourage you to work some really crappy jobs, things that you don't like, because it'll tell you what you don't want to do with the rest of your life.
And that would be a good one to write for number 8, freshmen. On number 8, where it says, what is one quote you liked or a take-home message? That would be a perfect one to write.
You can change the word that I used, though, if you don't want to use crappy. Yucky, poor jobs, I don't know.
And how many of you have detasseled?
Now that's a job and a half.
Yeah.
That makes you appreciate air conditioning.
Yeah. And being able to be clean at your
Yeah.
job, yeah. For sure.
How many of you remember who your hey Maddie, who remembers who your fourth grade teacher was?
I do.
Remember that?
Raise your hand if you remember who your fourth grade teacher was. Who was it, Michael?
Mr. Cunningham.
Where at?
Newell.
Newell. Who was yours, Kennedy?
Miss Myers.
That name sounds familiar. What school?
Solid.
Stolly. Veronica, what about you, honey?
Miss Gallister.
Where was that at?
Today.
Connect Room? How about you? Don't remember who your fourth grade teacher was? Okay, Caleb, what about you?
What?
What about you?
I don't remember.
You don't remember your fourth grade teacher? Francisco, what about you?
Miss Anderson.
Yep, where was she at?
Howard.
Yes, Miss Anderson, her son just graduated yesterday. You went to Howard? Nice. What do you guys remember? Who's your fourth grade teacher? How about you, sorry. Tizzy, who's your fourth grade teacher, remember? Where was she at? Newell, Dakota. What about you? Miss Johnson, where at? That's right, Star. What about you, Vanessa? Ed Dodge. Hey, Corby, who was your fourth grade teacher, remember? Where at? Newell. What about you guys? Jalissa?
Miss Myers.
Miss Myers. Who was yours? You had two of them? Cool. Who were they?
Miss Jones.
Were they both at the same school? Nice. Okay. Who was yours?
Sure. I remember when she was.
Oh, okay. She was.
Oh, yeah, it was.
She had like a little dog.
She what?
Yeah, it was huge.
Where at? What school?
We get on that tree.
Hughes.
You.
I thought maybe it was a nickname because she was.
I know, right? Hughes. Her name was Wendy. Wendy Hughes. Okay, who's yours? And where was she at? Jefferson. Wow. How many of you guys are thinking about going into education? Maybe preschool, maybe elementary, middle, or high school?
Anybody thinking about education as a career?
Kizzy.
Are you? Good for you. Well, starting out, you don't probably get a whole lot, but over a year, if you accumulate years and graduate credit hours, so graduate classes, you're taking classes, you can make pretty decent living as a teacher.
You can provide for your family.
Yeah, you can provide for your family. And that was one of my reasons for wanting to get a master's degree, because I would make even more as a principal. You know, so the more you continue to climb up the ladder, right, the more money you make. So that's important. Well, I used to teach fourth grade, but now I really teach. I work more with adults than I do
Yeah,
with
she was
kids.
with us as teachers.
Subjects.
As an elementary teacher, all of them: reading, math, science, social studies. Yep. Which is fun because then you get variety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you teach?
Yeah.
What skills do you need?
What's that?
What skills do you need?
Skills, I would say that you definitely need to be, organized. You need to be a person who,
Likes kids.
you do need to like kids. Although here's what I will say about that.
Hey, girls.
I don't know that, I probably wasn't the kind of person that just wanted to hang around with kids all day, every day. And I wasn't the kind of person who really liked to hang out with kids outside of school. Like, I wouldn't have been a babysitter. Does that make sense? I did not like babysitters. I did not enjoy that. But I liked the structure of school. I liked the organization of it, and I liked the kind of aha moments that students had when they would learn something and kind of get it. It would finally click for them. I really liked that. I did not like things like recess duty, where it was just kind of chaotic and there wasn't any organization. So if you're worried about not becoming a teacher because you think, oh, I'm just not a kid lover, there's different kinds of kid lovers, right? And you don't all have to be the kind that just, wants to just scoop up the kids and just hang out with them 24/7. So keep that in mind, that there's different types of kid lovers out there, for sure.
That was a good question.
That is a good question. I do think that to be a teacher, though, another skill that you need is you do have to like learning. You do have to love learning, because that's kind of a never-ending part of what you do every day.
And how many years do you need to have?
4 years usually to get your bachelor's degree. It depends on how many endorsements you get. The more endorsements you get, the more marketable you are, but the longer it takes you to get out of school. Does that make sense? So like, for me, I got a degree in elementary education. But you can get like a certification or specialize in like special education or English language learners, or, there's all sorts of different things that you can do. And I started out thinking that I was gonna be a coach and maybe wanted to do like some athletic training, like taking ankles and that kind of thing. But partway through decided I didn't wanna do that. And I was originally getting my degree in special education, but I changed my mind and then just went elementary education. So, there's lots of options when you're thinking about being a teacher. You just really have to know all your options and then decide what's best for you.
How much is an athletic trainer?
I don't know how much an athletic trainer makes. I bet you can Google that though.
We Google that today.
Because sometimes what you can do, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but you can teach, like be a PE teacher or any kind of a teacher during the day, go to ball games in the evenings and be an athletic trainer for those ball games. And you would get paid extra to do that. So you'd get your teaching salary plus you would get extra to go to those games and be an athletic trainer. So. Hey, any other questions? Well, thank you. You guys were awesome.
You're wonderful. Let's clap 3 on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Do you have any questions for us, for our kids?
Out of all the careers that you've kind of explored, anything really sticking out to you, or has it just kind of been good information? Anything really sticking out in your mind that you would like to go do?
Why don't you go around and tell us what you're thinking about for
Yeah.
your future career? And this time we'll start on that side with Tiffany. You're thinking about,
Well, I think in education and financial.
Okay, very good. Nursing would be great.
We had Jill Foltz come in and talk about nursing.
Yeah, awesome. Welding.
Yeah, we got our CPI kids.
Yes.
A forum. Awesome. What about you, Leslie? Business management. We had someone, a project manager from Texas, come talk to us. Miss Vanessa,
I'm a surgeon.
surgeon.
Good.
all right, Mariana?
No, that's okay. You have plenty of time. Don't feel any pressure.
Well, I've been planning construction or. That's it.
Maddie, what about you?
Okay, very good. Choreographer. Nice.
Architect.
Architect, okay.
Nursing along.
Say that again.
Nursing along.
Okay.
Francisco.
Welding.
Well,
Nice.
don't know yet.
Construction or automotive.
Okay.
Financial management.
Say that again.
Financial management.
Financial management, okay. Physical therapist. I have a niece that's a physical therapist. Do you know?
Automotive.
What did you say?
Automotives.
Automotives, okay. Well, one piece of advice, I'm sure other people have shared this, but you want to keep as many doors open as you possibly can,
Yeah.
right? Because you never know how many times you're going to change your mind between now and the time that you have to make those decisions. So I always tell kids, take lots of different classes, try to keep your options open. If you currently are in a job and you decide that you want to go work somewhere else, make sure that you leave your old job on good terms, right? You don't ever want to leave and close that door so that you can never get back in. You never know when you're going to want that job back. So work in lots of places because those people become references for you. Do you know what a reference is?
If we talked about that last Friday, our references,
Yeah. You want people to think good things about you because those references come in really handy when it's time to get a job.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, thank you. Hey, David, David, will you and Mariana, will you walk her back down to the office? That'd be
Thank you,
great.
guys.
Thank you.
Have a
You
good rest
rock.
of the year. Just a few more days.
Right, see you
Schedule
later.
class.
Okay, hey, Kristen, we're gonna give you the rest of this time,
West,
wherever she parked at. Let's have you guys work on your speeches, because those speeches are coming up this week.
Wait, what day?